So in this video, I'm basically doing a video on how to set up a custom built PC. So let's get started. So right here we have our motherboard, which is a key factor of a custom built PC. We have the graphics card, hard drive, power supply, memory, and processor, and tower, of course, which is right here. So the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure all the screws are in place for the motherboard. Basically, you want to line up the motherboard with the screws. Now you want to place the plate right here into the side. Basically, that's for the the components and stuff of the motherboard. Now let's go over and grab the motherboard. So we want to place the motherboard right there on top of those screws that we put in earlier, and then align the holes together. If you don't have all the screws at the bottom to place in these the screws up top, so basically just make sure all the screws align to these holes that you see. You see those little holes with the little silver parts? You want to align all of them so they can fit perfectly. Alright, and then you want to align it to the front plate up there as well. So all the screws, you want to make sure they are all aligned together. Now I'm gonna fast forward this because it took a little bit to install the screws. So now you want to install the screws onto the motherboard. Sometimes you gotta push over the motherboard a little slightly to the left, and just to get it aligned perfectly. It does take some time, but shouldn't be that long. So I'm just gonna fast forward it. Every motherboard is different, by the way. Some have more holes than other, depending on how big the motherboard is. This motherboard is the Hero Maximus, sorry, which is a pretty good board. All right, so once that's all placed, let's take out the processor. Which this processor is an i5. Usually they come with thermal paste. I like to smear my own thermal paste on there because just to be on the safe side, because you don't want to fry out your processor. So you see how it came pre-pasted already. So I'm gonna apply my thermal paste. Thermal paste is very cheap, so I would recommend purchasing it. So you want to apply it at the top of the processor, like I'm doing right here, and then it usually comes with a little smoother, as you can see right here. So just start smoothing it down. You want to apply this on top of the whole the whole chip up top. Like you see the little shiny part, you just want to apply it all on top of there until you get every angle. Just try not to get it on the actual chip. Just make sure you just get it on the top portion of it. I know this is sliding down. Let me push this up a little bit. But yeah, you want to get every inch of the top part. And then once that's done, just place your little slider thing down. And now we want to place this on the motherboard. So now you just use this clip to the right. It pulls up. And then this part is pretty easy. You see a little triangle at the bottom? It usually goes at the bottom of it, and then the hinges are at the top. So all you gotta do is slide that in, push it down. You want to take the little cover piece. They usually come on all boards as well, and then just clip it in. Okay, so that's the processor. Now we want to get the heatsink, which is right here. This came with the processor. I usually recommend getting something a little better, but since my customer had this one, I'm going to install this particular one. But I would get like a Corsair um, heatsink. Those are a little bit better. These are okay for starting off computers, but try to get like a Corsair heatsink. So yeah, the way these work, you have to kind of push them down and then twist the little caps right there. Alright, so you twist the caps and that usually gets them lining, but it's kind of tricky. At the bottom of them is a little plastic piece that you got to get in the hole. Once it's in the hole, then you twist the cap, and then that should lock it in place. So as you can see, it's a little loose, so you want to check all the caps because you want to make sure this is very tight on top of the processor, because this is what keeps the processor cool. This heat sink with the fan on top of it. Alright, so once that's done, now you got to get the cable. On the board, you'll notice at the bottom in small print it'll say for a CPU fan. So my plug is right here, so I'm just going to plug it in there. And that's basically it for the heatsink. Alright, so let's go next. Now we want to get our power supply. Power supply plays a major factor because that basically gets power to all your devices on the actual unit. I got this Corsair 750M, which is pretty good. Let me open this box here. Yeah, it comes with all the manuals and stuff like that. Sorry guys, I should have maybe emptied the power supply and just installed it, but I just wanted to make sure y'all knew it was like everything was new in the box. So yeah, I also recommend Corsair's power supplies as well. They're pretty good. I mean, you never can go wrong with a Corsair. So now you want to place the power supply at the bottom. The fan should be facing the motherboard. Never want to face the case. Always have it face the motherboard. That also generates cooling for the system as well. And then all you have to do is slide it in. There's usually a slot for the power supply. Now we have these 4 holes that we have to put the screws in to keep that power supply in place. So all you gotta do is just take the screws, put them in place. Very easy. The holes, usually you could tell by, you see how like the case will have a hole, and it should line up perfectly with the power supply hole. So you want to make sure that's aligned before you start screwing it in, because you don't want to start banging on the power supply if the hole doesn't match up with each other. So just make sure you get all 4 holes in, because this is what holds the power supply in place. So let me get this one. And we're all set. Alright. So let me do this top one too. 1 minute. Okay, so we're all set. Alright, now you want to get your cables for the power supply. There's going to be a whole bunch. You'll have SATA cables, which is right here. You have other cables for like your PCI Express and your motherboard, which is there, and then you'll have a whole bunch of additional ones on the side here. These are very important to have, so I untangled them. On the side, I know it's kind of blurry, but you can see these ports right here. This is where you're going to plug in those cables in. This has about, mine has about 6. Depending on what power supply you have, that varies on how many devices you can plug in, but usually nowadays they come with like 6 or even more. So now let's plug in this 24 port power, which goes here on the board. You'll see that usually on the side of the motherboard. So yeah, just push it down to hear a clipping noise, and then there's always remember that there's always another cable that has to be plugged into the board. It's either going to be the 6 or 8 pins that you have to plug in the board. Usually that's by the processor. So as you can see, it's over here in the corner. Very important to plug in that, because your board is not going to turn on if you don't have that in. Alright, next I think we're going to do the hard drive, so let me get that. Alright, so in this custom case they have like these bays right here that you can put them in. So I installed it already, and now it just slides in, as you can see. Slides into, you hear the clicking noise. And now we want to plug in the power SATA. So it's on the other side. With these cases, they have holes at the bottom, so you just push it through. Let me stand up the tower, because now we have to go on the other side. See the cable poking out there, so I'm going to grab it. And I'm going to plug this into the power. Just the power is always the long strip on the hard drive. Alright, so let's go back on the other side. Now we have to do the data cable, which is the SATA, which is right here. Depending on the board you have, these ports usually stick up or out on the sides. So this Maximus is out on the sides here. So you see those red ports on the side? Yeah, so we're going to click them in. Right there, and now we're going to punch this through the hole again, because the port's on the other side. And then you just plug it in right there in the SATA port. Sorry guys, it's kind of hard with one hand to do all this, but I wanted to record this video for you guys. Alright, so push this back a little bit. And now that's taken care of. Looking good so far. So let's see. We're going to do our CD-ROM. So you have to take the bay out. Well, those top parts usually just slide right out, and then your CD-ROM just basically slides in up top. And then you have these, depending on your case, this has like a little clip that holds it in place. So just push a little bit, and then the clip right there will lock it in place for you. Hold on, let me just tighten it up a little bit. Alright, so let me get the SATA connection. Let me get the power actually first. So the power connection's here, because it was further to the left, so I want to do the power first. So I just plug that in, and then we get the SATA connection. Oh yeah, make sure it's firmly in there. So let me get the SATA connection, plug that in, and then you just want to make sure the other end is plugged down into the SATA port on the motherboard. Now next, let's just move these. Next is going to be the graphics card. This is just a 960, nothing too big, but it's a good starting one. You see these pretty much things on the side. You want to push those out because that's where the graphics card is going to go in. Let me take this little piece off at the bottom. Alright, see I can't really take this out because I gotta take this other side part. With the newer video cards, they usually take 2 slots because they're so big now. Big and powerful, which what we like. So move the cables over to the side because you don't want them to get stuck between the card and the slot. Alright, so you want to place this down like my previous video showed you guys how to install graphics cards. So you want to place it down in the PCI Express slot. Alright, now it's nice. So let's go on the other side, just make sure it's plugged in. You see it's a little tilted. So yeah, as you can see it's not all the way in, so let's push it down till it clips on, which is good. Alright, nice and firm. As you can see, the ports in the front, we got DVI, HDMI. There's some display ports on this one too. You gotta buy the special adapters for those or the cables, which we like. So the only thing left for the graphic card, we have to plug in the power. As you can see, there's the power right there. So from the graphics card, from the power supply, plug in the power. That's so you can get power to your graphics card so those fans can spin. Alright, so let's get the memory now. Memory, make sure that you know where the notch is because you want to face them in the same direction. These are 2 8 gig sticks. So we have a total of 16. Alright, and then you want to, it's basically color coordinated for you, so you want to match the memory stick with the color. You don't want to do like red and black. You want to make sure they're both in the red slot. The same type of memory, like if you're doing 8, do 8x8, 4x4, 2x2, whatever you have, but make sure it's the same, in the same color slot. So let me push this down a little bit. It's being a little tricky. Come on. Alright, so that's in there. Now we're going to do our basically our switches. So these are like lights, the 3.0 USB cable up front, the power. These right here are like the power button, the reset button, the LED light in the front, and the power button light and stuff like that. They all get plugged here at the bottom here. Let me move this cable over the side so you can see it better. Alright, let me zoom in a little bit. Alright, so yeah, so you see they're kind of labeled at the bottom. But yeah, definitely you see that's where you want to plug them in, right there to the right for the power. I like to use the manual that shows you exactly where to put them, so you can line them up perfectly so you don't mess up your board if you put them in wrong. But yeah, definitely. So I'm going to fast forward it because it took a little bit to install this. But as you can see, they're installed now. So now we're going to plug in the other ones. So we have like the HD audio, which is located at the bottom here. So let me plug this switch in. Just give me a little bit. Right. These are easier to plug in because they kind of match with the pins. So all you gotta do is just match them up with the pins, and then bam, they're in. And then this is the 3.0. So let me come around because it's by the 24-pin power supply plug. So I'm gonna put it underneath the graphics card and then plug it in right here. Just push it in. This is a little tight. So yes, now it's nice and firm. Alright, so that's about almost it with all the cables you see. The only thing, if you want, you can do cable, like if you want to tie them up and make them nice and neat. So this is how I kind of neaten them up, kinda, as you can see. Power supply, graphics card. You got your heatsink and processor, RAM right here, CD-ROM up top, hard drive right there. And that's basically it. The cables are nice and tied in together. Here's some your SATA cables at the bottom here, extra fan on the side, and this is it. We're all set. And this is how it looks when it's turned on. Here's the front right here with the lights, so you know all the lights is working. Here's your post screen, which means it works. So I already installed the operating system. If you need help, look at my other video for installing operating systems. There's the back here. You can see some of the lights. I know it's dark. Front fan. So you guys are all set. Make sure you get your drivers for your motherboard, which I'm doing right now. But please subscribe. Leave any comments below if you have any questions. I'll try to get back to you. You guys have a good one. Thank you.